Welcome friends of the beautiful image. This will be today a short tutorial about a whole workflow using Lightroom and getting to know the image quality of Sony A7RII 42 megapixel camera images. I went to the Sony store to check this machine, and so we can have an impression of what this machine can do, and at the same time we can learn a simple workflow using Lightroom 6. Once you have started with the default catalog, you have to start importing the files from your camera or from any other external device where your source images have been stored. Lightroom already suggests us click the import button to begin. So we hover the mouse over the left toolbar and slide down to import here. Click one time, select the external device, open the folder structure, go to the folder you want to choose from, and Lightroom will show you the content of that archive. Using the mouse wheel, we will scroll down to where we want to get to. Hover over Uncheck All and then start to select the images you want to import. Once I have selected all photographs I want to copy as DNG, which means digital negative, so the source raw files will be understandable until that moment in whatever future on the market of the photo industry. Creating digital negatives may take a while since all codes have to be rewritten. Click, we hit import, and I'll get back to you once the transformation has been accomplished. As you can see, the preview files arrived quickly, but in the background Lightroom is still working to import all files into its archive. After around 2 minutes, all transformation has been done and Lightroom confirms that 21 photos were converted into DNG. Let's say we want to choose 3 photographs to look at a little bit closer. I'll choose this giraffe, deactivate that one, the sky, a shot from the street, and also this underexposed shot of the shop interior. Hit N to get a comparative overview. Using the arrow keys we can choose between those images. G brings us back to the grid view. We shift and click one more image into our selection. N brings us back to the image overview. Let's select the giraffe and hit D for the development module. I gives us the information. This is a large file with 7952 times 5304 pixels, which means once we click on the left eye with our zoom function, we will start to understand how large this image is. Let the left arrow key go. Instead of making all the fine-tuning with the first development basics on the right side here, we can go to Control U to look at what Lightroom would propose us to do with this photograph. Down to the left on our toolbar we can get access to the before and after views. We just need to click one time to see a comparison between those two photographs, and hitting D on our keyboard brings us back to the development module. For example, we can add some more clarity here. We may increase the vibrance and bringing down the highlights a little bit and lowering the influence of clarity and vibrance to our photography. We achieved a better glance at the scenery. Hitting I one more explains us about the photographic details. One more I gives us space. T even more widens the view. And when we want to look at the photo at full screen, hit F one time. D brings us back to the development module. Let's scroll a bit down. We create a little S-curve by selecting the medium contrast. We scroll down further and reduce the greens from the photograph, and then get closer to the giraffe. Boost the sharpening to around 76. Add a little bit of noise reduction. Click on the photo to zoom out. And as you can see down here, Lightroom automatically enables the profile corrections. If you would deactivate that, the photo would be like that. But it is more nice to have a straightened view. Probably we don't need to remove chromatic aberration, but it's always secure to do so. Let's look down here into the darkest parts of the image. There is a little bit of color noise in that realm, so we will boost up that value here. We click on the photo to zoom out, and just one more zoom into the tree to check if everything is as we like. Yes, true, the photo is not very creative and not so beautiful. It may seem that some of the reflections are already blown out. To correct this, we scroll up again, and there is two options. Either we hold Alt, click that little arrow, and then move it right or left until we see some pixels coming up, or we just hit Shift and double click on whites to automatically lower until exactly one step under the maximum. Click on the image to zoom out one more. Let's repeat the same process for the blacks. Shift, double click on blacks. Adds even more contrast to the image. The same way we can save a lot of time. Hit N to get back to the survey mode. Right click on our giraffe. Scroll to develop settings. Go to copy settings. Hit check all. Deactivate the local adjustments, the spot removal and the crop, and copy the data so far. Click on the image with the bus, develop settings, paste the settings. Click on the image with the boys, develop settings, paste the settings. As we can see, both of these images have too much contrast now. So activate the bus, click D for the development module. It takes a little second for Lightroom to develop the content. Let's take the point curve back to normal. Let's shift, double click the blacks, and same with whites. That's alright so far. An image with a low depth of field. As you can see, I 2 times, an f-stop of 4.0. I one more. And to get back to the survey mode, and then let's check one more into the sky. D for the development module. Now let's do everything step by step. The highlights we bring down. The shadows are okay like that. We shift double click the whites, shift double click the blacks. We increase the clarity. Add a little bit of vibrance, scroll down, take out a little bit of green, get close to the wire, add a little bit of sharpening, scroll down one more, add a little bit of noise reduction. Since we are in ISO 100, there is almost no color noise, but still increase it a little bit. Click on the image to zoom out. Here these two little dots on the window, we look at them closer. Activate the spot removal. Click that point. Lightroom has done a good job. With H we hide the selection. With T we bring back the toolbar. We hit Done to get out of the spot removal tool. And with space, we are back to our image overview. Let's remove 2 more points. Q for the spot removal tool. Scroll down left and lower the size. Click one time up here, then hover down. Shift left click down here, and Lightroom understands immediately that the whole scratch was to be removed. One more. Click, Shift, click, and click on that bright point here one time, and Q to exit the spot removal tool. Let's go up and lower the clarity a little, since I don't like so much that artificial gradient on top of this edge, maybe around here. So that's now already more decent. And we hit N to exit the development module. Let's not squeeze too much information into this little tutorial. You learned already how to import raw files from an external media into Lightroom as a DNG. You had a short glance at some of the Lightroom standard functions. To round up this tutorial, we will export the giraffe into an imaginary folder. Let's hit G to enter the grid view. Click once into the empty space. Give 1 star to the giraffe and 1 to the defocused sky. In the library filter, we hit Attribute and select 1 star, so that we can be sure about what we want to export now. Hit Ctrl A to select both of those images. Shift Tab 2 times to have all the menus at our disposal. Click Export down here. Choose any Lightroom preset. For example, burn full-sized JPEGs. We won't touch all the detailed settings here now, but since this computer doesn't have a CD or DVD, we select hard drive as our location, choose the folder, and export the files right away. On the upper left, you see that Lightroom is working now. I'll be back after this process is finished. And then opening the Explorer, we get access to the exported files. Zoom in to check if everything's alright. Double click to zoom out. Hit one time the arrow key. Check one more. And even the fine hair can still be discovered inside the scene. Click like if you liked that tutorial and subscribe if you want to see more videos coming.